Gaming is something that has become almost every person's part of life. There's hardly any person who doesn't play games or never played any game in their life, especially the newer generation. From ping pong to GTA 6, people are crazy about games. It's just that the culture is expanding with time as more people are using games to release their stress or enjoy some moments of their work-centered lives. Today, we have stunning graphics, immersive storytelling, and online multiplayer experiences that connect players around the world. But have you ever thought about what the future holds for gaming? How would games look like in 20 years or maybe 40 years? In this video, I am exactly going to talk about what games would look like and what major changes you would see in games. First of all, you would have to stash your keyboard and mice in your storage, or you can also keep them as antiques. Because one of the most exciting developments in gaming is the move away from traditional input devices like keyboards and mice. Now, you might be thinking, how will you use your monitor or tower PCs without these accessories? Well, you don't have to use them. Bluntly put, you would be called a geezer if you were to still use those things at that time. So, what exactly will be using if not for those things? Well, we'll be using our bodies to control the action, thanks to advances in motion capture technology and haptic feedback suits. Remember those VR devices whose cost might exceed your entire gaming setup? Yeah, those devices are currently in the same state as Tesla was about 10 years ago. No one bothered to glance at them, but now, owning its higher-end model is considered as a sign of luxury. The same thing will happen to VR headsets that will take a new form of suits or full-face helmets, which will allow us to feel every punch, kick, and explosion in real time, creating a level of immersion that was previously impossible. We'll be able to run, jump, and dodge with our whole bodies, but just in games. Because in reality, you would be lying on your chair or bed. Simply put, this technology will use only your senses without having you actually move your body parts. There's also another technology called AR, or augmented reality. With the use of AR, we'll be able to experience games in the real world, with digital objects and characters overlaid on top of our surroundings. This will allow us to play games in new and exciting ways, such as turning our living rooms into battlefields or racing tracks. With VR or virtual reality, we'll be able to step inside the game world itself. As I've explained before, we'll be exploring vast landscapes and interacting with NPC characters in ways that feel incredibly lifelike. Or actually, we would be easily convinced that this is another world. We'll be able to explore, meet new people, talk with them, and have new experiences that would be impossible in the real world. Now, if you're a hardcore gamer, you would realize that there are two types of major genres in gaming. One is shooting, both FPS and TPS included. And there are fantasy MMO games that take us to another world. Although there are incredibly popular single-player games, there's not many changes will be made to them in the future. We'll see VR games with incredibly lifelike things, but with a fixed story. But when we talk about MMO, or massive multiplayer online games, that's the one genre that will see the most changes. MMOs of the future will no longer have fixed stories. Instead, the world will change according to what the player is doing. And imagine what will become of these games, where the choices of thousands or even millions of players will impact the future story of the game world. This will be made possible by live AI that will constantly change itself, according to players' patterns. Each NPC and mob will have their own stories and lives, creating a dynamic and responsive world. At last, let's talk about the future of esports. Esports will continue to grow in popularity, with games becoming even more spectator-friendly. We can expect to see more augmented reality and virtual reality esports events, with players competing in immersive game worlds. Esports teams will also become more like traditional sports teams, with dedicated training facilities and staff. And not to mention, with changes like that and more mainstream recognition, esports will become a worldwide accepted profession, with players becoming as rich as traditional sports players. In conclusion, from haptic feedback gears to live AI and beyond, we can expect to see a new era of immersive gaming experiences that will change the way we play games for a few decades before a new technology comes and replaces it. While it may take some time for us to see these technologies become mainstream, when it will, our lifestyle will change so fast that we won't be able to realize it.